Hey there, cookies. I'm going to have a little moan about how Wolfenstein The New Order's design ruined my experience of the game. The points that I'm going to make are mainly based on playing the game on Uber difficulty. On Uber difficulty, the game simply increases damage resistance for the heavy enemies and lowers yours. I've always considered this the lazy way to up the difficulty of most first-person shooters. If developers decide to go this route, then they should always adjust other aspects of the game to balance out. In most cases this is not done because it costs additional time and resources, easier and cheaper to just adjust 2 HP bars. The issue I have with taking the lazy route is that it undermines BJ being a badass. Looking back at the classic Wolfenstein games, they were fast-paced, skill-based games, running, gunning and strafing all the way. The New Order is nothing like this. It's more like a modern military shooter. Like most modern military shooters, your only combat options are to hide behind cover or around a corner and pop shot people, or piss them off and hide in a room, patiently waiting for the enemy to come to the entrance, most of the time one by one, making the game a clay pigeon shooting simulator, all the time hoping that a heavy won't come around the corner and just one-shot you. These two tactics are forced to be implemented because any other tactics will get you killed. That would be fine if this was Call of Duty, but it's Wolfenstein. Again, this is a game that has a reputation for the fun of just running in with big guns, killing lots of enemies like a madman. The level designs are mostly enclosed, sometimes with elevated positions for the enemy, disabling movement between cover positions. Most of the time a shootout will consist of you being stuck behind one bit of cover, as movement will get you killed reasonably quickly. There is little need to move anyway, as the cover you want to move to will give you little to no advantage from where you have just moved from. Eventually you will get a shot on enemies just staying in one spot, as they will move closer towards you eventually. No need to expose yourself when they will run that gauntlet for you. The only time you will need to move is when there's 1 or 2 enemies left and they stubbornly stay in cover. Flanking positions are very limited and pointless because when the enemy are aware, flanking isn't possible, especially with the closed level design. Credit is due here for the AI, as they do know how to use 2 entrances to their advantage. For example, if you're hiding in a room, they will bum rush you from both sides, or bum rush you from the one side that you're not covering. However, this does fixate your position further, making it feel even more like a military shooter. The game is stingy with bullets in some areas. If enemies take more shots to kill them, more bullets should be given to the player to compensate for this. Cowering in a corner, waiting for death because you've used all of your ammo for your decent weapon on a Terminator's face is not fun, and more to the point, it's not balanced. This brings me to the next issue I have. I want to run and gun my way through this game. It is a Wolfenstein game after all. It is not possible to do this on the Uber setting. Even though the game gives you the option to do so, it forces you to play stealthy in some sections, because if you do raise the alarm, you will not have enough bullets to kill the amount of Terminators that come. So your playstyle is somewhat forced upon you. Being put on the back foot in this way undermines what the game is trying to portray BJ as. They've gone the way of the military shooter of upping the difficulty, which is strange because Bethesda managed to get the harder settings on Doom right. Doom and Wolfenstein are essentially the same game in a different skin. Yes, they have different enemies and environments, but at their core, you kill a lot of things in the same style of gameplay. However, Wolfenstein stops you from playing in this way because of the lazy method adopted by the game to make it harder. If they wanted to go for a tactical shooter and make it more difficult, why didn't it not go the Rainbow Six route, lowering the player's health as well as the enemies to a one-shot kill essentially for both? This makes the game fair and harder at the same time. However, if they wanted to go for what Wolfenstein should be, then they should have gone Doom's route of making the game harder. Yes, the enemies take more shots, but is balanced by more health and bullet pickups that you automatically pick up. This way of increasing difficulty enables the gameplay that they want you to have, in keeping with the image of BJ without bogging the player down to a tactical shooter. This is why I think the game is ruined on the Uber setting, because of simply the lazy choice of just upping the difficulty. It's not very true to Wolfenstein roots. It's closer to a Call of Duty than a Wolfenstein game, especially by just simply adjusting 2 health bars and not compensating for it in any other way to balance the game. And then there's adding perks as well that are earned through, again, forcing your gameplay style. But after completing the game on the hardest setting, I decided to go back and play it on normal, and I actually had more fun with it because the game felt more like what BJ is supposed to be, an awesome Nazi killer machine. I get that maybe I should have played it through on normal first, but then again, I can't be asked for multiple playthroughs, starting on normal, then going to the hardest setting, then go back to normal again to pick up the achievements that I didn't get in the previous 2 playthroughs. Doing this for every first person shooter or any game really is just massively time consuming. So nowadays I tend to put games on the hardest setting first, or a hard setting first, because I want the challenging experience. I find them more rewarding than putting games on normal where you can just casually go through and just shoot everything. I've done it 100 times and it's very boring. So that was my choice, my reason why I decided to play games on the hardest setting first. But Wolfenstein The New Order I found more frustrating than challenging, and because of the game's design I didn't find it very balanced overall, and that's why it ruined my experience of the game. The video here shows how I'm stuck by the bad design of the game. I cannot stealth this level at all, nor do I have sufficient ammo to kill the enemies that come from the raised alarm. There are 2 waves of these dicks. I do manage to get through one, but I get stuck with no bullets. The only ammo that I can pick up is from the enemies that I kill, but they are always in the open, so there's no chance of running out there and picking it up, unless you just get a quick death for trying to do so. I'm stuck in the corner. All I can do is just pop shot them from around the corner and hopefully kill the heavy. With all that being said, you can consider Wolfenstein The New Order on Uber setting and myself well and truly creamed on.